incredible woman. She is a female women's rights advocate. She's a public health officer, and she's also a lead in community engagement. Her name, of course, is Yasmin Nessa. Yasmin, welcome.
Hi.
So lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So you're from Birmingham. Have you had far to travel today? Did it take too long? How long was the journey?
No, the journey's fine. I do make my way to London quite a bit, so you can just kind of get used to it. I read a little book and just get on my way there.
That's fantastic. And are you actually born and brought up in Birmingham?
Yeah, born and raised.
Born and raised. Okay, yeah. I feel like I have affiliation with Birmingham too, because I actually went to university there, which I know you did.
Yeah.
And you studied, is it politics?
And philosophy.
And philosophy, yeah. Amazing. And I think we both also were part of the Bangladesh Birmingham University Association.
Yeah.
How did you find that?
It was interesting. We did go out to do a lot of volunteer work, like making food and handing it out in the city centre. So that was really nice.
That's fantastic.
It was nice to have like a home away from home.
Yeah, absolutely. I found the same when I was there too. So just wanted to ask you, first of all, if you could give us a couple of highlights of your career so far, the things that you're really proud about, the things that you'd like to draw attention to.
Most recently, I've just republished a report on women's health inequalities in Birmingham. That was a really big piece of work, something I'm really passionate about, especially because there was a focus on South Asians and South Asian women and some of the health inequalities that they experience. A highlight was I was awarded a hometown hero for the Commonwealth Games for Birmingham 2022.
Wow.
Did you say 3?
You can choose 2 or 3.
And also, my work was recognised by the BBC on The One Show, and I got to meet one of my sports idols. Ironically, the star of Bend It Like Beckham. So that was a huge,
fantastic.
That was a huge moment. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Now you do a lot of work around women's health, and I know one of your key interests is to do with. There was a report that came out, wasn't there, about the Birmingham Women's Health Report?
Yes.
That was published not too long ago. Tell us a little bit about that. You know, this idea of gender inequality, you know, within health, and what you sort of think about that.
Well, it's that society and the gender norms and gender roles that are placed in society have direct impacts on women's autonomy, their bodily autonomy. There are different biological aspects of a woman's health that are kind of underlooked within medical research, especially because it's centered around men and just that men being the default for health and not really paying that specialist attention towards what women need. And oftentimes women are underdiagnosed in a number of areas such as cardiovascular disease, cancer screening. There's also cultural barriers towards women's health as well. Sometimes you'll have family members that feel that certain types of treatments or doing certain things are not culturally appropriate. So there are a lot of barriers towards women's health, and that's kind of what the report goes into. It's a snapshot. By no means is it as comprehensive as it could be, but we were trying to make the case for creating more of a systematic approach towards including gender inequality within health research.
I mean, I think it's brilliant, and I think we very much need that. And I'm sure a lot of our female viewers will be watching and thinking, you know, that they do need to speak up a little bit more, you know, and that there is this inequality, that it's not just something that, you know, they've gone away thinking it's in their head. So I think it's such an important report that you've helped bring about. So thank you for that. Now you also are the founder of, is it Saltly Women?
Yes, Women's.
Saltly Women's. Tell me a little bit about that venture.
That was something that I started when I was 23 years old, and I was doing my master's still at the University of Birmingham because I loved it so much.
It is a beautiful university, isn't it?
It is. It's stunning. When I was younger, I really did love sport, but I think when you grow up in the kind of background that I did, you had this heavy emphasis on education, and that kind of takes a centre stage within your life. So then that natural love that I had for sport sort of kind of took a sidestep when I was growing up, and I just focused on getting those grades, getting into university. And then when I was just before I started doing my masters, I discovered fitness and sports and football again, and I was like, I really, really loved this, and I kind of wish that I took it more seriously, because rather than it being something that gets in the way of your education, it really adds value to your life in terms of your mental health, your physical health, your social well-being, really contributes massively to it. So then I started my master's degree, and I went in there like how the gym really helps me, and I thought, I want to get back into football again. And then I found a lot of community activity taking place where I could do that at the grassroots level, and how I could help Muslim girls, Bengali girls, South Asian girls, who we do get a lot of barriers and pushback when it comes to things like sport. You know, it's clothing.
It's clothing,
It's male dominated, and you're really discouraged from doing that. I wanted to break that down, and that's kind of where Saltly started.
And so is it part of any kind of league?
Not anymore, I don't think. I kind of started everything that I could, and
Yep.
we really did a lot within those few years that I took part of it.
Right.
You know, we set up a football pitch, a youth club, a youth centre, did a
Amazing.
lot of events, really got members of the community involved, and some of them have actually gotten jobs from that opportunity as
Wow.
well. But then I thought I really want to focus on what I love doing, which is policy advocacy.
Right.
So that's why I've now stepped into this role in public health.
That's incredible. And you did it at a young age. With the sports, as you mentioned, you know, I mean, of course, men have access to that, and they do sort of carry it on, don't they, from teenage years all the way through to manhood.
Yeah.
And as you said, there's a big gap for women. So it's amazing and inspiring that you did something like that. Now, you mentioned your real passion, if you like. Tell me a little about that.
My real passion.
Your real passion, then you just mentioned the public advocacy.
Oh, right.
You've got so many different hats.
Yeah, sometimes. I guess it's, I've grown up in this background when I come from a really poor neighbourhood in Birmingham,
Right.
and all around me, I think poverty was almost de facto, and you saw those inequalities, but you took it as that's how things are. And then when I was about 16 years old, I started my A-level studying government and politics, and then that was when there was a change in leadership and government in the UK, a pretty big one.
Yeah, of course.
And austerity became a huge thing for my generation. It would later impact our future, our prosperity, the kind of access to opportunities that we did have. And something clicked within me that this is what you need to do. I was really good. Like, my university lecturers loved me, my teachers loved me at A-levels as well. They said, you need to do something big with this. And I think they motivated me and pushed me on, and they mobilized me as well, like, your writing could really take you somewhere. And then so at university, that was along the same lines. I studied feminism, international race theory, critical race theory, politics, policy as well. And then that's why I went back to do my master's. I was like, this is what I want. And then it's like 3-4 months later, I then got my role in the local authority for Birmingham City Council, and then it just kind of fell into place.
That's incredible. So for any of our viewers who might also care about the community, who also might be interested in getting involved in that kind of, you know, race relations or community engagement, you know, what kind of advice would you have for them? What would you suggest?
The honest truth is volunteer, be part of your community, understand what's happening at on the ground, at the grassroots level. For me, I understand what the issues are in Birmingham. That's why I'm so passionate for the work that I do when it comes to income inequality or domestic abuse or women's health. It's because I've seen it within my own two eyes. I've spoken to people, and I've really taken that step back to understand at the local level what's going on, and that's how I'm able to impact change. We talk about it a lot, but if you understand what's happening on the ground, then you will be able to make the greatest impact, and I still believe that to this day. So yeah, just get involved. I'm not going to say you don't need necessarily to go down the university route like I did, but be the change that you want to see is a really big thing.
Absolutely, be the change that you want to see. And as you mentioned, you know, doing it on the grassroots level, so not just sitting behind a desk, but actually getting involved, you know. Yeah. And are there any particular things like that you have had an impact on that you're particularly proud of? Because there must be so many different things that you've achieved through this work.
Yeah, that's a tough one. When I first started the football work, there was somebody who said that her younger sister was diagnosed with autism, and she found it really difficult to engage with people, and she needed her sister to be there. But after a few sessions of coming to football, she felt confident enough to come, and it really helped her well-being. And there were sessions that I used to teach on recognising the signs of grooming and manipulation, and people used to come to me and say, I've actually observed that in my own friendships or my own relationships, and because of the signs that you've pointed out, like, I'm going to do something about it. I think those, you know, I'd rather hear about those real stories than, you know, awards and like the accolades are really great. But to hear somebody say like, your words have changed the things I'm going to do today, that was a really big thing.
Of course, and that's, you know, that's the inspiration that you've given to somebody else, you know, which is brilliant. You know, you've done so much, and I'd like to know what's sort of next steps for you.
Oh, I'm not even thinking about that right now.
Where do you hope to go?
I'm kind of hoping that maybe a PhD, but that's looking like 10 years. Or not.
Why not? Why
soon,
not? Incredible.
Yeah. I'm happy where I am right now. I think there's a little bit more room in public health I want to work on, and to continue for gender health inequalities and advocating for women's rights. Another piece of work that I've really done that I forgot to mention was that I did develop the logic model for a campaign on domestic abuse prevention.
Oh, wow.
And it's called Informing Women, Transforming Lives, where we partnered with this organisation in America. And I kind of want to work a bit further on that, on supporting victims of domestic abuse.
That's incredible. I mean, you do so much. And, you know, does it ever get too much? Do you ever feel like you're taking some of those quite deep, profound things that you're involved with, you know, that you're taking it home, that, you know, it becomes too much? How do you sort of deal with that? Or is there something else that you do to balance it out?
Oh, that's a very good question. And I get asked that when my line manager does say that same thing. Make sure you don't
It's important, isn't it? So you don't burn out, yes.
I think it helps that I'm really active, and I talk about it all the time, obviously, with the football stuff, but being physically active, getting into the gym, going for a walk, treating your body well, eating the right foods, they're all things that 100% help me keep my mind clear at all times. And I think that's how I kind of cope with it as well. And I'm lucky that I have a great support network of friends and family who really root for me and give me that affirmation that I need to keep going.
That's fantastic. So you healthy eating, exercising, keeping yourself busy, all these things that, you know, that our viewers also can, of course, you know, appreciate and take on board as well to balance their lives out too. What's your sort of healthy eating? What do you turn to, your go-to?
Sorry. My mum doesn't like it so much, but I have a lot of salads.
Salads, okay.
Yeah, it's a bit boring.
Yeah. Does she like rice and dal?
Yeah, and fish. But you know what, my mum's a foodie. She kind of inspired me a lot in terms of when I was really young, she did try to encourage us to have more vegetables, grilled fish, grilled chicken, and that's kind of what I eat on a daily basis. I love getting fruits. I listen to a lot of health and nutrition podcasts.
Fantastic.
And I try to stay away from like processed foods.
Yeah.
So I do have, I try to get those seeds, those nuts, plants, fruit, veg, and I do it in a creative way. It's a shame that our brilliant chef had to leave because I was going to ask him, do you have any recommendations for recipes?
I know, we need to get him back on. You can ask him about it, right?
Yeah, I really want to, because I was just like, I'm a foodie as well. And I try to get really creative with food to make sure that people understand that it's not bland and it's not boring.
Yeah.
And I really want to inspire other South Asians to kind of get onto that train as well and to really promote that healthy lifestyle, that it doesn't need to be bland meals, that you can have everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you never know, maybe a recipe book in the future, you know?
Inshallah.
Why not? Get that healthy lifestyle going, encourage the community to get on board with that as well. Yeah. Well, look, there's so much to talk about and I've loved having you on. Thank you so much for joining us today.